I think someone put this meeting on live streaming on YouTube. Okay.
It is host
So-
only, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So socialization is the chapter that we are discussing. We are going through like that. Okay. So anticipatory socialization is there, and another one major socialization which is supposed to happen to children is gender socialization for people. So we should know what is gender and what are the different types of gender. And so the socialization process is connected with everything. Uh, Basically, it's the skill that we create through interaction with different kind of people in a different context, in a different age, in a different need or a different purpose. And this continuous process is what we call socialization process. And it's a highly complex process that we can't pinpoint or identify where what is happening. We can just know the process. So these are what is happening. So because there is biological aspects, there is psychological aspects, there is social, cultural, political, environmental. All these things are affecting the process called social. This is briefly what we can say socialization process. The next section is concept of self. So the concept of self is very important in psychology, not only in social psychology, the broad psychology. If you take any discipline in psychology, any specialization, you can see the concept of self have very importance in psychology. Uh, I'm not going. Not going with the page number of chapter. I'm just going with the syllabus. So you may not see what I am explaining here because I'm not using any materials here. Okay, the syllabus, and I would like Evelyn to mute their mic. Evelyn Grace. Yeah, thank you. So self-concept again, how a person identify oneself, not identifying. For example, if you take a child or something, they will express themselves by saying their name. It's like Amu or whatever their name, they will say that name and say like Amu need that, Amu need this or whatever. So which means like they are referring themselves as a third person. So this is like this is something that I would like Srilata to turn off their mic or mute their mic. Srilata, yeah. Uh, you have any questions or something? You can ask. Otherwise, please mute your mic. So, self-concept is how an individual constitute oneself physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually, or in terms of any factors. So who am I? Like, what am I? Like, is it my body or is it my name? Or we can't pinpoint a particular factor because self or self-concept is something that amalgamated by all the factors. It's not something a single factor. It have everything. Self-concept is very important, and self-concept is that person's idea of oneself. Am I audible? Yeah. So self-concept is again connected with a lot of
Hello, sir.
other. Sorry, yeah.
Sir, if you come on the screen, it would be better for us, sir.
Yeah, the problem is I'm having a like a network issue. So if I turn off my video, you may able to see me, but you won't be able to hear my voice. So which one you prefer? That's the problem.
We prefer
There is
both,
some
sir. Seeing you and
yeah. I understood. But the problem here is having some network issue. So there will be a network jam. So if I turn on my video, you people will be able to see me, but the class won't happen because my sound won't come. So sorry for the inconvenience. In the next class, I will try to turn on my video.
Yeah.
So So that is what self-concept, and self-concept is connected with a lot of other ideas, which is self-concept is not self-esteem, self-concept is not self-confidence, self-concept is not self-image. Self-concept is not the idea about oneself from someone else. That is what we call self-image or something. Okay. So self-concept, basically a person will scrutinize oneself, that all the information from outside world and from within oneself, and they create, like, they will filter out what they want, what they don't want, what is comfortable, what is not comfortable, and they will make a self. And this self have a connection with all other things, like this because an individual is not only a self, the person is having different identities. So if something happens with self-concept or the idea of oneself, then the process of socialization will completely get shattered. Because a person, an individual who is not able to create a proper concept of self will have problem with expressing oneself in a way about, like, in such a way that, like, about their own thoughts or emotions or their feelings, whatever it is, they will be completely confused. So self-concept is a major one factor in socialization process. And
sir, can you elaborate with any example? Like, with example means we are able to understand better.
Okay, fine. So I will explain the concept of, like, the idea of self-concept. Okay. So for example, we are taking self-concept and self-awareness. Okay, these are two concepts in psychology: self-concept and self-awareness. So self-awareness will influence self-concept. Okay, self-awareness, because self-awareness is something that adding information to self-concept. So when the person is realizing something about oneself, that is what we call self-awareness. Awareness about oneself. It's like kind of exploration. We, through different kind of experiences and exposure, we identify what is actually within ourselves. So that is self-awareness. So there are things that we are realized, and certain things only we accommodate, and certain things we will remove. Right. In the process of self-awareness, we are realizing, okay, we are having this kind of psychological process, or I'm having this kind of things, that kind of stuff, blah 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 blah. So we won't accommodate everything. Certain things we will remove. Certain things we will keep. So whatever things that we are keeping will constitute self-concept. And self-awareness is a process that creates self-concept. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think it's clear. If there is any questions or not, you can. So self-concept is a dynamic process. Okay. It's not a product, it's a process. It's continuously. It's a every psychological process is a dynamic process. Nothing is static. Something static happens, then we call it like what we call, like, stagnant. Okay. Oh,
Sir,
fixation.
is it that from others' point of view, or we are aware about
oneself?
Yeah,
oneself. That's what I said. That's what I said. Self-concept is completely governed by one individual, but self-concept is created through a lot of other processes. Okay. So when it comes to self-concept, the individual is only there, but the information that the individual need to create the self-concept is happening through other processes, which, like self-awareness or a lot of other things. But self-concept is something which is happening within the individual. The individual is the only one who is aware about what is happening within oneself. So self-concept is a kind of, we can say, kind of a particular area of an individual, which is only known to that particular individual. But the process of creation of self-concept is happening through multiple processes. Self-awareness is a one way. Like a person is getting awareness about different aspects of oneself, and certain parts the person will decide to keep it, which is healthy or functional, and certain behavioral or whatever it is will be lead to unhealthy or dysfunctional consequences. So the person will remove those things. So the person will seek some help to remove those things. So that is how self-concepts are created. Am I clear? So that is what the concept of self, and there are a lot of other processes is there that I will share with you the materials. It will take a lot of time to explain it because there is this development of self. So development of self is like a lifespan process. It's not something that is happening in the childhood or adolescent or adulthood. It's like from the beginning of a human being to the end of the human being. So the self, how the self is developing is a lifespan process. I will be explaining, will be giving all these theories and process of self-developing and everything. So that is the concept of self. And the next area that we have to check is social influence. So anyone have any doubt or anything to repeat anything that already explained? Any doubt?
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, can you explain about self-esteem and self-efficacy?
Self-esteem and self-efficacy.
Yes.
Okay. Self-efficacy.
The books, self-esteem, self-efficacy, like.
Sorry.
The self-esteem, self-efficacy, self-regulation.
There are huge differences between all these things. So self-efficacy is a person's belief of oneself, that the person have the ability to initiate a task, not to complete a task. Okay, have to be very listen carefully. Self-efficacy is not self-efficacy is a belief of a person that the person can initiate and sustain an activity. It's not talking about the completion of the task. Okay, it's like a person is started doing exercise, but the person is not able to continue, finish it properly or something like that. Doesn't matter. So self-efficacy is the belief of oneself that the person can initiate something. It's about a belief. But self-esteem is a product actually, that you have to do something and you should give a result. And from that result, you will get a feedback. And that feedback will either enhance your self-esteem or it can reduce your self-esteem. So self-esteem is a kind of a feedback process. It's about your accomplishment. Esteem is mostly about the accomplishment and everything. But efficacy is basically the efficacy belief, whether a person is able to, or it's about the efficiency, whether to start or initiate a particular behavior or something. It's not about finishing a task. That is the difference between self-esteem and self-efficacy. Am I clear?
Sir, anyways, you are teaching us very briefly. You at least go by the subheadings, sir.
Yeah, that's what I was explaining. So,
see, within 20 minutes, you have completed 3 chapters: socialization, concept of self, and self-influence. Now we are going
but
to...
it's actually, I haven't finished. I have just given you a brief idea of what is those psychological processes. You have to go through a lot of details in that. That is there in the syllabus, but because of the time constraint, I am just explaining what is that process. So, socialization, if you are looking in sociology, it's a different process. Okay. But in psychology, socialization is complete different process. And if you are taking gender studies, again, socialization is a different process. If you are taking anthropology, socialization is a different process. So socialization...
How is it different, sir? You are just telling us, see, socialization in psychology is different. But how is it different? You have to tell us, no, sir. That's the reason we have done the course.
Yeah, but it's psychology course now. So
Okay, sir. What is social self?
Social self is that where we are placing ourselves in the social society, because we have a lot of different kind of identities, social identities, like we are a son, we are brother, we are husband or wife or teacher or friend. We have different social roles. So how we are identifying those social roles, and we are acquiring certain skills to exercise those social roles. So we have different social roles. Like as a student, I have social role. As a faculty, I have social role. So social roles are different, and a person should acquire those social skills. Then only that person can exercise those processes in the settings. Am I clear?
Sir, actually, social self means you are saying how the way we present with as an
No,
individual, how
not
I
we are
am.
presenting. Not we are presenting. Social self is not the way we are presenting. See, in psychology, we focus on individual. Okay, what the changes in individual, but the changes that is happening within the individual is due to a lot of outside factors, but we focus only on the individual. So self, like social self, again there is a concept called social self. So that is basically we have a person will have a different kind of social identities, and that person should have awareness about what are the different social identities that person is possessing, and that person should acquire certain skills to keep those obligations. So it's not about presenting oneself to the society. It's about how a person is acquiring skill or identifying oneself in a different social context. So that is the social self in psychology. Okay.
But
So
the
the next,
self is like self is developed from the childhood, right? So these are the ideas what we put in the child. Like tomorrow you are going to become this. You like this only. So what are the things they are listening? They adopt to that. So how that will be a self? How self is actually developed? How we can say that it is forced or
it's not forced. Okay, so that is what I said. The development of self is a huge process that I will share the materials. You can read and go through and the next class we can have discussion. That would be much better. Otherwise, the whole syllabus won't be, we won't be able to cover.
Because self is such a concept that it is like always it's confusing, though we know.
That's what I said in the beginning.
Self-concept, self-esteem, and everything.
Exactly. That's what I said. Yeah, self is not a concept. Self is not something only in social psychology. It is there in all specializations of psychology. So you can see self in social psychology. You can see the concept of self in normal psychology, pathology, in personality, in cognitive psychology. So self is a major concept in psychology. So we are looking the concept of self in the context of social psychology. If you are learning some other paper in psychology, you will be looking into self-concept in that context. So here we are looking into self-concept in the context of social psychology or socialization process. Okay. But if anyone is very much interested to know how the concept of self is forming, the two disciplines in psychology which is purely focusing on the self is one is theories of personality or personality psychology, and another one is developmental psychology. So these two areas of psychology is mainly dealing with the development of self or concept of self in psychology. So the next area that we have to discuss is social influence.
Sir, what are those two, sir? Theory of personality?
I understood that the theory of personality and developmental psychology, or you can call lifespan development. So these are the two papers.
One doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. One doubt.
Yeah.
You clearly explained the concept of social self. That is a person, how he presents himself to this society, social self, in a group or something.
It's not about presenting. That's the difference here. social self is not the way a person is presenting to the society. It's the inside knowledge of one's person about their self-identities. Presenting oneself to the society is something different.
Yeah, that may be different. But then what is social self? Because what is the connection between the self and social?
See,
self-awareness, self-concept, as you explained, that's fine.
The social self is again,
so
society is existing there now, and we what we call us like social animal, right? We basically belong to the animal family, but we ourselves call our social animal, right?
Okay.
So why we ourselves call social animal? Because we have people and we interact with people and we create societies.
Yeah, yeah,
so
that's
in
right.
society, in society. So like right now, I am taking a class. So I am a faculty here. But the moment I finish this class, I will be one of my friend will come. I'm not a faculty there. I'm a friend.
Yeah, yeah.
And suddenly, if any of my professor is calling, suddenly I'm becoming a student because I can.
That's in the same context. Just I understood it. The same concept I understood. I want to ask, my question is, suppose the same thing applies to family also, because in the family he's a father.
Exactly. That is the skill. That is what we call intelligence. Right? Yeah, that is what we call skill. Exactly.
Yeah.
A person has
other
to
than the
gain...
individual self. The concept is other than the individual self. Whatever the way, we may not call it present, but how he is among the group. He is social.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
The thing what we acquire and learn from others and present, and move accordingly, like adjusting according to the society and presenting, and individual present what he move accordingly. That is social self.
Yeah, it's like there is some corrections in that. Like the person will have a social exposure, but there is something we call human agency. That is that the person can decide what to take and what to not to take. So it is not something which is completely out of a person's hand. So in psychology, we believe that something there is called human agency, that human have control. So even there is a lot of information is happening, we are shaping ourselves, and there are influences from other factors also. But if a person is very well aware about oneself, so the person can decide what to accommodate from the society and our culture and what to not. So there is social human agency, and there are external factors also.
But many of the people, like we have a Johari Window, like many of the people, they don't know like the concept of like people what publicly they present is different, but this is the concept of different. And personally, he knows about himself. There is a dark side also. And the other one is what he wants actually. So
Johari Window we actually using for Johari Window is basically not something to explore the self. Okay, Johari Window is usually be used in the concept of interpersonal relationships, especially in the group settings. Okay, Johari Window is not something to identify oneself. It is it's an intervention method to identify the barriers and blocks in the interpersonal communication and understanding. So it is not a method to understand the self.
No,
Johari
it is not
Window
about. It's like in that when we are doing that interpersonal communication, like that relation, at that particular time, if we have to self-analyze, like ABCD block of like there is a ask from its dark corner of every individual how to develop that, and how he will come to know.
That is there because that is there. There is always a possibility for change. There is always a possibility of change. Like that is the major reason we are studying psychology. Now we should be able to change a person's behavior, thought, everything. But it won't happen all of a sudden. It will take a time. It will take certain methods, certain scientific approaches. Am I clear? So actually, we have to finish two more concepts in this paper. So once I finish that, we can start the question answer session. So is that fine?
Just 1 minute, sir. Just one word I want to add. So in this context, can we say the social self is simply the self in the context of social setting.
Yeah, obviously, that is what we call socialization.
Exactly. There may be a family or a group or something.
Exactly. You got it. Exactly.
The
you got it.
presented in social setting. Maybe the superimposition of a social context on the individual self.
Exactly.
Yes, thank you.
That is the actual meaning of social self.
Exactly. Thank you.
So how you are present, how when you be a part of a social setting, you will change.
Yes. Obviously.
You will change. So
the superimposition of something in the social setting on the individual self.
Exactly. That is social self.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, what is self-monitoring, sir?
Self-monitoring is a kind of you are evaluating yourself, kind of. But it is not evaluation, it's monitoring. We can call it like surveillance, self-surveillance.
Sir, is there any change, sir, in between self? That is self-monitoring and social self, sir.
Yeah, self-monitoring is a process. Through the self-monitoring process only, self-monitoring, those are like what we can. So those are the filtration process. Okay, those are filter process. So if you have a self-monitoring, a good self-analysis, self-monitoring process, so you will be able to know what is actually happening within yourself. So that will help you to enhance your self-concept. So self-monitoring is a process that can lead to enhance or damage the concept of self-concept.
Sir, if you possible, as early as possible, try to keep that brief material, sir. It will be very
See, the thing is like I'm actually making your materials from the beginning of your syllabus. Like
yes, sir, we are in confusion, sir. We are not able to cope up with your class.
Understood. Because it's like that's the problem. Like it's a huge concepts, huge content. But we have 1 hour time. But I know.
Because we are missing so much in the material.
Understood. I know. So I will definitely I will share the materials within 1 or 2 days, because I am preparing the materials, because you people are working and everything, so you won't be able to have the time to read the whole sentences.
Yeah, we are in confusion, sir. We are not.
Yeah, so I will try to make them brief, so you will understand, so you can write things in your own way.
Definitely,
is that fine?
Definitely. Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine. So I have 2 more areas to complete in socialization process, and I will finish that, and then we will go for the questions. Fine. So the next section in socialization process is social influence, and there is 3 concepts in social influence: conformity, compliance, and cooperation. Yeah. So in social influence, there is a major 3 concepts, which is conformity, compliance, and cooperation. Okay. So conformity is a major concept in social psychology. It's a very important concept in social psychology, and there are a lot of experiments have had done to whether the process of conformity is real or not in our world. So, for example, basically, I will give you an example. What is conformity? So, take a scenario in a classroom, a 5th stand classroom. Okay, 5th stand classroom, and there are students are there. So, teacher is asking, and like you can imagine, there is only 15 students for a scenario. There is only 15 students in the class, standard class, 15 students in the class, and the teacher is asking a question. And among the 15 students, all the 14 students said one answer. But the 15th student know that the answer were told by all the 14 students are wrong, but still the 15th person will also say the wrong answer, which is said by all the 14. Because if that person say something different, the person will keep out of the group. So the person will change their thought, emotion, and everything to stay in a group. So that is what we call conformity. So conformity is in a situation a person is completely changing from their self, whatever it is there within inside in them, they are changing all those things, their ideologies, their beliefs, and everything to stay within a group. That is what we call conformity. So conformity happens in everywhere, in all over the world. There are a lot of beautiful experimental videos of conformity in YouTube. You can watch a lot of conformity videos. So conformity is the
sir,
social.
Yeah. Sir, is it an autokinetic effect?
Sorry?
Is it an autokinetic effect? Like
No. It's not an autokinetic effect. It's a conscious, intentional, deliberate, like not deliberate, conscious, intentional activity.
Fine. Okay. Thank you.
So it happens with everywhere. Like for example, in an adult world, we can say it like in a company or NGO or something. Like someone is asking something and many people are agreeing to it, but someone don't want to agree and they are not at all agreeing, but they can't do anything, so they will also be part of it. But as a person, they are not interested in that, they are not willing to do that, or they don't support that, but they don't have any option, because if they oppose, they will stand aside. They don't want to stand aside. A person, no human wants to stay alone. So everyone wants to stay in some kind of group. So to stay in some kind of group, you have to go with the group's norm. So even if the group norms are against your personal preferences and everything, but because you want to stay in that group, so you will change your personal ideas and everything, and you will become part of the group. That is what we call conformity. So the next concept is called compliance. So conformity and compliance is two different things. Compliance will be having a kind of dependency mind. It can lead to dependency state. So compliance, it can happen in a multiple context. Like you are like you are being like what? There will be a person who is giving a kind of suggestion or order or something, and the other person is obeying. So it's not about obeying, because compliance mostly happens if the other person is possessing any kind of power or authority position. Okay, some kind of power or authority position exists, then there is a more chance of compliance. So compliance, again, it's not an automatic process or a reflective process or something. It's a conscious, intentional process. Compliance. And then the next thing is cooperation. So cooperation, why we are saying cooperation? Because we usually, like in psychology, we say like humans are interdependent. Okay, they are not dependent or they are not independent. Humans are interdependent. A human can't live completely dependent, or a human can't live completely independent. A human needs interdependency. That is what we call cooperation. So cooperation is very important. And in cooperation, there are a lot of things that we have to take care of. Don't worry, all these details will be there in the materials. You just have to listen carefully, so you will be able to understand when you go through the material.
Can you repeat what is cooperation, sir?
So cooperation is like, see, when you are in a group, okay, so you are in a group, so cooperation won't go with the individual interest. Okay, so a cooperation, when we need cooperation, in what context humans need cooperation? Some things that we like we want to achieve, and we need a group that will make the strength, right? So we will go with a group, and within that group, we are saying cooperation. We have to cooperate with everyone. So why cooperation very important is, when you are in a group, many of one's someone is so for exercising or practicing cooperation, we need a certain skills, a lot of skills. We should have interest beyond the personal and the group interest. So you have to keep your personal interest and personal needs, and you have to focus on the group interest. That can only happen if you are cooperating. they are not cooperating, then the person will go with their own interest and the group will go in another way and it will harm the group. So cooperation is a psychological process which need a lot of skills and which need a lot of awareness about a lot of things. And there are certain factors which is explaining that, and those will be in the material, don't worry. All those things, what leads to compliance, what leads to conformity, what leads to cooperation, everything will be there in the material. You have to listen carefully, so you will be able to understand when you are going through the materials. Okay. Am I clear on this conformity, compliance, and cooperation?
Excuse me, sir. I have a doubt. Yeah. You told material will be posted. Where will you post it, sir?
I have shared a Google link in the chat box. I will share it once again. So this Google link, now there is no material in the Google link, but I just created the Google link. I will be adding the materials to the link.
Please post the Google link.
Yeah, I have shared the link in the chat box, so you can.
I didn't find, sir. I joined little late. Could you please?
So I think I have put it once again. Yeah, it is there. So it is going to direct message. Sorry. Yeah.
No, sir. There is no link in the chat group.
No.
Yes, sir. I got it right now.
Yeah, that's the link. Yeah. So there is nothing in the link right now. If you open, it will be blank. I will be adding the materials because I am preparing materials. Because if I share you the direct textbook, it will no use of you. I am making the content crisp, that easy to follow.
But sir, how as after class the chart will be disappear now? It is not being copied. The link is not being copied.
You can save the link somewhere, or someone in the group, someone in the class. Can you share this link in your common WhatsApp group?
Is there any other WhatsApp group? How can we join in the WhatsApp group? Anyone, could you please share the WhatsApp group link, please?
Yeah. So like the link is here. I'm going back to class. We have 10-15 minutes, and I have one more area.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Sir, if you don't mind, can you copy the link in our WhatsApp group?
Actually, I'm not in the WhatsApp group. I don't there in WhatsApp group. So whoever is there in the group,
I have done it. Sir,
don't worry, I sent in the group. Okay.
Because we are not able to copy from the chat box.
Those things you can deal later. I will. You can those things, the link and materials, and those things you can deal later. I will complete this one more content.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. But along with the cooperation, so sometimes we have to compete with each other to finish a task or something within a group.
Sorry.
If, a task is given to a group. So along with the cooperation, they have to compete with each other to fulfill the task. So how these two terms differ from each other?
I got the question. I will explain that question after. There is one more content in the module socialization process. I will finish that and I will come back to your question. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Sure. So the last thing is obedience. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Actually, I shared the link as a screenshot in the University of Psychology group. Everybody can have it in WhatsApp group.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So obedience, again only happen in the context of a power dynamics. Okay. So there is a famous study called Milgram studies of obedience. So it's a famous research that I will share with you. So I will explain what is obedience. So there is this thing that people, some people were put it into a room, and some people were asked to give them some shock, and the other people were asked that whenever they do wrong task or something, you can give the shock. It's an experiment. I'm just briefly explaining. We'll be getting the proper experimental details.
Milgram experiment.
Milgram experiment. Yeah, Milgram experiment. Yeah. So obedience basically comes with the fear. So fear of what? Fear of what means fear of not getting harmed physically. Fear of psychologically influenced, or fear of psychologically dominated. So that kind of fear is leading to obedience. Okay. So when in a social context that the process of obedience is happening, you can clearly see that there is a power dynamics is happening. Power dynamics means there will be a person with authoritarian or some kind of power on the other individuals. In that context, mostly the obedience happens. Otherwise, we don't need actually obedience. So that is the major concept of obedience. And then we have finished the socialization process, the third block. Now you can go with the question. Yeah. Ashri, can you repeat the questions once again?
Is it like the last one?
Elaborate this
obedience.
Cooperation a little more, like in real time, how it works.
Yeah. So I will give you a scenario. Okay. So you people are advised to do a community project. Okay. And this whole class is divided into 1 or 2, 3 groups, and each group gave each area to community research. So it's like I gave one group for senior citizen or like old age people, and one group I gave as a problem with labor work, and another group I gave a topic of 3 children, child labor or something. So there is this, you people have created a group and you people are going for the work. So what will be you people's intention? Is it like something that I want to do something better, or it's like we have to go together and finish the work? What will be your thought? Anyone can answer. Is my question clear?
Sir, can you repeat again, sir?
Yeah. So you people are here in this class. Everyone is here right now. And someone were asking that the link is not there, right? So suddenly discussion started. People started sharing that thing, this thing. So the intention of what? The class should go, and whatever should get, they should get. That was the intention here, right? It's not something your personal interest. You haven't shared that WhatsApp group link for you, for the group, right? And that this behavior we call cooperation. Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Anything else? Anything from previous class or till now, whatever we have discussed, anything that you want me to explain or anything, you can have that. Because in the next Saturday, the next class will be attitudes and social process, and it's a huge area.
Sir, may I?
Yes.
Sir, yesterday you said that you will assist us on writing assignments.
Writing assignment? No. Is it me?
Sir,
yesterday, like you, exactly.
Yesterday,
You people said that you have some assignments, so obviously you can, we can do that. Someone have to ask me like what is their assignment work or something. Someone asked me yesterday, like there is,
sir, I'd like to ask you one question, sir. What is the, ego and obedience are quite opposite things, or?
See, the word ego have different meaning in psychology. That's the problem. So when it comes to ego is a part of self. Okay. And the concept of ego is actually exists only in psychoanalysis, nowhere in psychology. So in our day-to-day life, we usually use ego as a kind of head weight or something else. But in strictly in the context of psychology, ego, we call it self. Ego is another word for self. If you go to psychoanalysis, you won't see the word self. You will only see the word ego. Ego is equal to self. Exactly. So if you go to individual psychology or analytical psychology, you don't see the word self. You can only see the word psyche or ego, which is equal to the word self. Am I clear?
Is it related? I mean, is it extension of the, I mean, ego is the extension of obedience, or obedience is the extension of...
No, obedience is a social process. You don't have to we don't have to show obedience every time. No. Obedience will only have to be expressed in a certain context, which demands obedience, like in a prison or in a school, somewhere that to be directed and to do, like make other people do work. In that context only you need obedience. Otherwise, obedience is not necessary. But ego or self is something that we need till our death. Because without self, you can't exist now.
But you said obedience arises after the power dynamics happens.
Yeah, power dynamics happens. The power dynamics between two people. Like now, you and me are talking, right? We both are having a conversation now, right? So, but there is a kind of things that I am explaining. You are trying to understand. You are asking questions. So here, I have an upper hand on the subject, like explaining things. Not I don't have upper hand, obviously, but I'm explaining. So that kind of thing is there. So whatever I explain, you people try to understand. That is we can call it a kind of passive obedience, right? Like I'm explaining, you people are trying to understand, like using your brain and trying to understand, asking questions. So we can call it in a passive obedience, right? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can we go into the link which you provided after 2 days, sir, for the notes?
It's a Google Drive link I have already shared. I'm sharing it once again in the chat box.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got it. Someone shared in the group, WhatsApp group.
The same link only. It's the same link only.
Yes,
but
yes.
I haven't.
Can we go after 2 days, sir, into that link?
Ma'am, how can
One or 2 days you can. Obedience and attitude, behavior, this and that interlinked, sir. Like again, it's like upcoming lessons, attitude, like what we are going to do, which is interrelated to the obedience.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. See, if you look at the syllabus of your social psychology, it is actually arranged in a way that is the way that the social psychological process happens. Okay. If you remove the introduction part and you look, that will start from other things. So that is the way that social psychology, like, or the social process will happen. Everything is connected. We can't take the fourth block, the 20 block 4, 5th social behavior, and then we can study social perception, because social behavior happens with attitude, social process, socialization process, social perception. Then only social behavior happens.
Because when we talk about the concept of self, again, it is one more, like self-esteem, self-efficacy. Again, self-perception is another word.
Yeah, it's another word.
Where we have to how we react for certain things. Again, self-reaction is another word.
Yeah. There is lot of psychological process which is related to self. Self-reflection is there. Self-assessment is there. Lot of things are there which is related to self. So self-concept is concept about the self. Self-esteem is esteem about the self. Efficacy is efficacy about the self. Self-monitoring is monitoring yourself. Got it? The other way the meaning is coming. So self-concept means concept of oneself about oneself. Self-perception is perception towards oneself. You can perceive outside world also. But when your perception comes inwards, we call it self-perception. There is got it?
Yeah. Yes, sir, got it. Your explanation is quite clear.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
I appreciate
it. Sir, a small doubt related to assignment, sir.
Sorry?
A small doubt related to assignment,
sir.
Sir, can we write more than 30 pages, sir, for one paper? Or it should be within 30 pages?
I think this assignment is not related to me, I think. Because
Yes,
I
sir.
haven't given any related. But assignment, there is no word limit for assignment or anything. But you have to cover everything that is given for your assignment. That's it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Sir, even I have a small doubt regarding assignments. For social psychology also, we got 2 assignments. So we need to pin up 2 assignments into a single assignment, or else
No,
we should...
two. Make it 2 because
okay.
2 assignment means 2 different work. Actually, assignments are like basically homework. No.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay, sir. So we need to submit 2 assignments. I mean, different assignments. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so what, like, we should pin it up, or else we should use a stick file or a binding?
I'm not sure about that. I think you have to contact the subject coordinator.
Okay.
Whoever the psychology subject coordinator in this university, I think you have to contact that person. How you can submit.
Regarding this, sir, one second, sir. Regarding this assignment, many people are asking doubts. I request them, because as you said, you are not related to this administrative aspect of assignments. I request the persons not to ask the faculties regarding the assignment, how to write, how many pin-up are. You are, please ask Talka Anjay Garu, one person who is putting all the assignment instructions on behalf of university. You please ask him and follow that. It's a request to all the participants.
Yeah, because my duty is to evaluate your assignment.
Exactly.
Sir,
because if I
is there in the obedience, reducing obedience is the one subheading where in the experiment of Milgram's experiment, he carried a various in his basic experiments, his subjects were sometimes they are disagreeing and rebelling here. So what is this reducing? Means how?
Yeah,
means
see, the major criticism against Milgram's obedience experiment was it was conducted in a lab setting. And social behavior is not something we can study through a lab settings because it is happening in the natural habitat, right? So in a social setting, there will be a lot of other factors. But in social settings, like in a laboratory setting, you can control variables. But in a social setting, in the natural settings, we don't have any control on anything. So obedience, we are learning, that is a major criticism in obedience. And because of that criticism, we understood more about obedience. So don't believe the obedience which is explained by Milgram's experiment because the concept of obedience has been changed a lot. But we understood that something called obedience is existing in a different way in society. We understood those things through Milgram's experiment. But the Milgram's experiment have a lot of flaws. The one major flaw is it was done in a lab setting with the equipment. So obedience won't happen like that in a natural life. Obedience have some other aspects which is not explained in the Milgram's experiment. Am I clear?
Sir, the obedience comes from discipline also, right?
Sorry?
Obedience comes from discipline also.
Obviously.
Okay, yeah.
Sir, regarding your link which you sent in the chat box or the Google Drive link, when I'm clicking on the link, it says the folder is empty.
Yeah, folder is empty. That's what I said. Like I haven't added the materials yet. I need some day. Like I need one or 2 days to add materials there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do we access?
Request participants to listen to the class so that the same questions will not eat away the time.
Yeah, because okay,
let's coming to the class modeling regarding modeling and modeling aggression, sir.
Modeling
and modeling. What is the term modeling? Means how the modeling affects inhabitatory and disinhabitatory.
Modeling separate heading is there, side heading.
No. In the syllabus there is nothing.
In the syllabus now, what are the chapters we have completed in the obedience? We have a subheading that is modeling. In the
modeling response inhibition. Don't say it simply modeling. It's a single term. Modeling inhibition. Modeling response. It's a single term actually. Modeling response inhibition. It's a single term. So don't take terms individually and interpret. Okay.
No, sir, because all of a sudden in a paper, if we get what is modeling and explain about modeling aggression.
Yeah, that's what whatever there is. Yeah, whatever there is in the syllabus, I will be explaining in the material. Because if I am explaining each content in the syllabus, like I said in the last class, I may need 6 months to finish the syllabus. Got it. I will just briefly explain what is modeling response inhibition. That's fine.
Yes, sir. Modeling aggression and altruism.
Got it. The modeling response inhibition. So modeling is basically
like it is interlinked with the Bobo-doll experiment of Bandura.
Oh, you're trying to taking into like the concept of that imitation, the theory of imitation, like
Yes.
social cognitive theory, like modeling.
Is it modeling? Is like it is something
exactly.
to the
That is
Bandura.
there. That is there. That modeling is again like imitating of a particular behavior. So modeling response inhibition. So if you take the three words together, a particular social behavior a person acquired through a imitation or a modeling, and that is becoming a response. And when the moment the person identify that response is not something that the person earned or learned or acquired, but it is something, a copy paste of someone's behavior, and that moment the person will inhibit that response. Got it.
That is response inhibition, sir. And
modeling response inhibition.
This is another, sir. Modeling, modeling response inhibition and response disinhibition.
No, response disinhibition. That is there.
And again, aggression and altruism is another. Like somebody.
I think then I have the wrong syllabus of yours. Can someone send me a syllabus, because that is not there? Because in the syllabus, response disinhibition till that is there. There is nothing beyond that.
I'll just forward the PDF of this file to you today.
You can send me in the mail if you have my mail ID. Like you can send me the mail, because I think
I'll send it copy.
Syllabus. Because in the syllabus that I have, it is like obedience, Milgram studies of obedience, modeling response inhibition, response disinhibition. That's it. Nothing beyond that.
Can you repeat, sir?
Milgram studies of obedience, modeling response inhibition, and response disinhibition. That's it in obedience. Nothing else is there in obedience. That the syllabus that I have, the syllabus that I have got. So, if you have any other syllabus that you are following, can you share that with me in the?
We will be sharing the PDF, so that's not an issue. Let us first finish whatever we have got. Then if we get the time, then we can really do.
Sure. So, I think we can wind up for today.
Yes, sir. Please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
I will be sharing the materials in the Google Drive within 1 or 2 days. I need some time to prepare the material. And you can go through the materials, read well, and I will give you some additional references that if anyone is interested, they can go through that also. And because it will be better if we are having a through discussion and understanding, it will be better we can finish the whole syllabus easily.
Because the question is like how the justification, the subject would in the Milgram's this experiment, the subjects must have given their kind of justification why they have obeyed and disobeyed.
Sorry.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your clarity of the concepts and the very nice manner you explained those things, self-awareness and social. Very good, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So, if you have any questions, you can keep it. We will have a detailed discussion on coming classes on next Saturday and Sunday, and will be there the materials. And if you have any doubts or anything, you can ask me in the group.
Could you share your numbers, sir, in the chat box so that we can add it in the group?
I'm actually joined your WhatsApp group, I think so. I will share my number here. You can add me to the group.
Please, sir. Actually, I am hesitating to ask your number. That will be very helpful.
So this is my number. You can take this number, contact me only if necessary. Okay.
Yeah, but all people be careful not to drown the person with all the questions.
That will be great. Okay, all the best. We'll see you in the next class. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.